Okay. So today, as we are going to continue our unit testing, right? Yesterday we covered the basic about the unit testing. What is the unit testing? And in the Java language, we are going to learn JUnit is a framework that help us to test our code, right? Verify our code. And yesterday we written our one test class for the calculator test. Okay, and this is the calculator. This calculator class exposes the two method, add method and double it and then add it, right? And for these two
Right.
methods we are added a couple of test cases with just one hard coded value, and with the double it and test. And after that we did the repeated test, means ki this same test case I added for test for the 10 time for different random number, right? And all case we are getting the expected result. So yesterday I say ki this you can run test manually from the IntelliJ, from go here and run them. This is the one way, right? But it should, okay, this, let's again run. Okay, so in this way we are able to test all the written test case via manually from the IntelliJ. And I say ki this test case once you written, whenever someone going to the build application, maybe from command line you can test them, right? So let's you want to go to the from where this project is open, and just this is our project window, and just open maybe command prompt git bash anything, right? Maybe here you can just case command prompt, right? And here in this case you just run some command, right? Ambien, right? Ambien,
Right.
just say test. Okay, so this is the command help us to test all the written test case, right? So you can just run ambient test, and it will test all your whatever written test case in your code base. Notice they are running all your test, and they are running this almost 12 tests they are run. All are the pass, right? This is the
Right.
class they run, right?
Yeah.
So one way, whenever generally whenever we are going to, you can say written test case, and we don't care when developer going to run. Generally whenever someone going to the build the package or compile the package, by default our maven, okay, whenever you open a maven, by default maven is given this facility ki they can run all your test cases. So yesterday we learn this is the basic life cycle. They our ambient command by default support filing validations, source code, everything. And whenever these are the following maven phases, right? Validating your code means and compiling your code, testing your code, packaging your, verifying your, installing your, deploying your, right? These are the complete life cycles of your deployment. So whenever someone going to the verify your run or install or deploy a package means make a jar file. Whenever someone going to the build a deployable jar, at that time we have option, our code compile, our code test, and then package, right? So by default, we have not tried manually going to test, but ambient say, hey, I will test your code. If all the good, I am say your test all pass, I am able to package it. Package it means just make a jar. This jar can be run in anywhere, right? So I say you have a multiple options. You can generally these test cases run automatically whenever you are committing the code, you're building a code from the GitHub itself or the MBN or any pipeline, whatever the CI/CD pipeline you build, right? So these
Yeah.
test cases once you written, they can automatically run. You don't need to manually run. Just say ambient command prompt, say ambient test, and they are run your test. Okay.
Yeah.
Might be sometime you want the ambient test means they run all the tests written in a unit test cases. Sometime you want, no, I want to run only one specific test class, right? This class. I don't want to run this class as well. You notice these are two test classes here. In this case, test class one, test class two. So question is that how our ambient know okay, this is the two test classes. How ambient verify that these two classes I have to run. So internally, this is the detail mentioned. They have a follow some principles, some guidelines, right? So this is the complete Maven project detail structure. I'm not going to detail, but here mention why they are able to run your application, your test cases. Whenever say ambient compile means you are just compiling the code. Ambient test means you are going to run the test cases, right? And
Right.
similarly, you can say ambient just want to compile, don't want to test. Just ambient test hyphen compile. This means you just want to compile your code, right? But don't want to execute the test. Ambient package means internally their code compile, test, and then package, right? These are the some steps by default they mention. They say ki whenever you are running like a whenever say hey ambient install or ambient package build the jar. So by default our Apache look any classes follow this pattern like your class name like test.java, your test start.java, your test cases.java, or something test java. This the patterns if your classes follow by default they are, your class become the candidate to run the test, right? Notice so yesterday I say ki whenever you're writing your test class mention your class which you are going to in the last set test, right? Why say just so that our ambient know hey this is the test class, right? So this is
Okay.
some naming culture, naming convention generally we follow whenever we're writing a test case, so that our MBN automatically verify. Manually, I'm not going to say if I'm not writing a test, might be how I identify you have to run that. This is a test class, right?
Right.
So somehow these are the MBN structure defined, and due to that, our test cases, yeah, whatever the code written, that automatically run, right? Manually, you don't need to run. Manually, let's say I have given 10 test cases. How many times I'm going to run one by one by one, right? But IntelliJ also give an option all the things. Maybe here notice this is a Maven. This is a click the Maven, and here you can show this is the life cycle, and here all the options. A Maven clean means you are just cleaning the complete uh, class compile. Means ki whatever the class file generated now they clean. Or say now you want to compile or you want to test. Whenever we are going to test, internally code compile and also test. I say I test. This is going to run all my test cases, right? So notice here they are going to running my compiling the code and again going to running my test. Not this is the test running. Right? Notice this is the test are running. These are tests are running,
Okay.
right? They run
Right.
this test class app test and after that they run this calculator test. They took test classes, those test classes they are running, right?
Right.
You can if you are while the development phase, generally developer run from itself here. You can run or you can run directly from the you want to run the both. So how to run both? How to run the both test cases? So go to the top level. Okay, go to the here in the Java folder and say run all tests. So they are going to run the both classes, app test and as well as calculator test. Notice the both tests are running, right?
Right.
So whenever while the development, so we are manually running the test. Okay, but once you done development done, and whenever code is committed, this test cases is automatically run by your any build tool. Maven is the one build tool. Whenever going to build means you are making a compiling all the classes and making a jar file so that anyone can be used. So while that times, this test cases automatically going to run, right? Because
Automatically.
because Maven define this life cycle, right? Maven define this life cycle. Okay. Whenever you are saying, hey, I want to build the Maven package. Package means ki delivery jar. So by default, your packaging means ki they are going to run the test, going to the compile and going to validate, right? If anything fail, your packaging is a fail, right? Means you are not able
Right.
to make a deliverable component, deliverable jars.
Right.
So generally, whenever we are going to after software development done, generally we are going to package our all the code so that customer can deploy this jar file, right? Whenever you packaging, say ambient package internally, ambient running the test cases, compiling. First they validate your code. After the compiling this case and then testing the code, right? This automatically done. Why? Because we created project on the help of Maven project structure. This is the Maven project structure we follow while creation, and this is the structure, right?
Right.
Nowadays, generally, all the applications follow the same kind of structures where they are building the business logic code, where they are building the test cases code. It's good. So this is
Yeah.
about the whatever the code I am writing. This is automatic run. How automatic run? Because we as a Java developer follow some guidelines while developing application, right? We are following this project structure like source is the main inside the test, all the business logic and the main, all the test cases and the test, and each test case is given the naming convention, right? So these are the hint parameter for the Maven, and Maven is a build tool to internally build your package, build your application, compile your application.
Right.
So this is basic about how we can run your test. So I'm asking, let's see. In the IntelliJ, I can run only one test here, right?
Right.
This is it possible? I can run from the command prompt only one test case? Yes, is it
Uh,
possible?
yeah.
Yeah, go
It should be
here.
possible. Yeah.
Yes, go here, and if you run MVN
MVN.
ambient clean means you are just cleaning means ki deleting all the compiled code means all the class files just clean them, right? Means ki देखो deleting this directory unit test target, notice they are deleting only. Clean means just deleting the compiled class files, okay? Whenever you notice this is the file, whenever notice this is the file, this is the only source and I folder, right? This is the whenever you go and say hey, here say let's see, I say ambient compile means ki I want to compile the code, right? Whenever you compile it means they are compiling the code, and where the after compiling they generate class file. So where they are putting the class files, they are putting class files in the particular folder, right? And
Right.
after this, hey, I want to run the test, so you can say test. So you can say ambient clean, then compile, then test. This is the sequence. Or you can say, hey, I can directly say ambient test. So internally, this ambient compile also done and test also done. So notice in this case, your test is also going to run. So in this case, both test classes are run. So let's say I want to run only one test case. How to do? Yeah, one is specific in this test classes have a multiple. Notice this is the target folder generated here. Target folder contain your all the generated classes. Notice. So this is whenever you say code compile test, they folder automatic generated means they generating all your class file here, right? So whenever you say ki ambient clean, ambient clean means just they going deleting this target folder, and after that your target folder is the deleted, right? Notice target folder is deleted once ambient clean done, right? This is deleted. Okay, so uh, we have a study just I means say we can run all the tests, or we can run one test, or you can run one test class or multiple method. You can run multiple method as well as, okay.
So when you type MDN compile,
Hmm.
uh, and
They are
then
going
you
they
need
are
to
going to
type.
just compiling this code to close, right? This is the Java code. By default, Java code is not run after compiled code run, right? Bytecode run, right? This is the basic about the directly Java code is not running in the by JVM. JVM don't know Java language. JVM only know the bytecode. The first this code is going to the compile, converted to the bytecode, and bytecode is run by the Java language, right?
Yeah. So
Now
when
due to
it
that, they need a compilation phase.
Mhm. Okay.
So you say, hey, just even you can say, simply say ambient test. So internally, our ambient test, no, ki without compile code, how I run. So internally, they are compiling the code and running the test, right? The
So
ambient
when you say ambient test, is it test is the name of the uh,
test is just one Maven command, help, Maven command line utility, Maven ambient, and you can what the option you have, just say ambient hyphen hyphen help. What the option you have, right?
right?
So here lots of option you have. Notice ambient help. You have a lots of option you can pass here. Ambient A, B, a parameter, right?
Right.
Similar. This is the ambient help. Ambient have a lots of options. You can go to the official websites of Ambient and read all the details. The generally we are not doing each and everything, but basic these things we are always doing like a uh, basic thing: ambient compile, ambient test, package, verify, install, or deploy. So these are the
Okay.
basic
Okay.
ambient phases, right?
Mhm.
So this yeah, ambient clean. Notice the cleanup means cleanup just deleted by all the prior build. These are basic specific commands, or you can say option ambient command have. You can pass, right?
And you can use this to create jar file for other
Yes,
Java project.
yes, any Java project. Yes. If your Java application build on the this file structure, your folder
Okay. Okay.
application name and form file, source contain the main, source contain the test. Generally, all the application nowadays follow the same pattern, right? If this pattern and then ambient can package it. Package is completely compile well your package deliver software, right? And
Right.
a package means they generate one jar file for you, right?
Right.
So here I'm going to say ambient test means they are running the you say ambient test. Say ambient test means they run all the tests. Let's see, want to run. I want to run only one class, not all, right? So you can just mention, hey ambient, don't run all the. Maybe here I have written two only cases. Maybe 1,000 test cases there. Always they are going to run. So you have option here hyphen. You can give the parameter. Hey, I can test and run just this class, right? And say this test one, right? This is the way you can just I mentioned here. This is the way you can test you, right? So in this way, specific test class you can just run, right?
Right.
You have to don't give space here, right? So now this is the only one test case running. Test case going to run only one class they are running. They are running only one test case. So you say this is the only one test case is running, right? So
Right.
try to check, I want to not run. I want to run the different test case. App test. Only one. Another test. App test. So they run only one specific class which you want. Give the complete package name and this will run only one test. Run test, and this test run only one app test, right? Notice? So maybe notice whenever I run this test case, and they have a multiple test class. They have test case one, test case two, test case three, right? They have a lots of test cases. Notice they have a three test cases. This test class, you can say I just want to run only one specific method. I don't want to run all, right?
Right.
Maybe I want to run just only one this method, add test. Okay. So here you can also say ki I can run a specific one. So you can just give me the method name. Here say, hey, this is my test class and how to some hash and your method name whatever you have, right? This is the add test. So they can run just only one method of your test, right? For the command line, notice they are going to run test and this they run only one test. Notice this will run only one test, right?
Right.
Maybe you want to know I want to run this test. Test this test I want to run, right? Anyone, whichever you want to give the method, I want to run this repeated test, right? Repeated test, right? This one. So just say this test I want to run. So sometime you have to all the things, all the codes test case is run from the command line as well as the IntelliJ idea. So while the development generally we are not using this tool, but sometime where your IntelliJ, don't notice they are run only one test case that's contain the 10 test case, right? So
Yeah.
so you can say notice ambient test have a lots of option as well as D, and here give the option. So if we have to more detail, we can read the website, each and everything on the website available. But basically, sometime we don't want to run all the test cases. Specific one test cases or a specific class or a specific class, a specific method I want to run. So you can run them, right? But while development, that's just sufficient. Go and right click and run the test. It will run, right? So there is no problem, right?
Right.
Sufficient. So this is about due to that say कि our unit test case is the like automation test case. Look like they all the test cases automatic run whenever someone going to make a jar, make a build, compile your code, right?
Yeah.
It's a good. So till now, any question about the way you run your test cases, right? There are different way run test cases. Generally, say ambient clean, ambient compile, ambient verify, lots of options you have, right? And you can do anything. Or IntelliJ, just do right click and run, right?
Right.
Or either again, Maven have option, Maven here say clean, compile, test, verify, whatever the option. This is the complete life cycle of Maven. Clean, validate, compile, test, everything, right?
If we choose test, then it will run.
It will test. If you root the package, this is automatically internally run. Let's say I run the clean. Clean means they clean this target, right? Clean means just I run the screen, double click. They remove this test directory. It means clean means key all the compile class deleted, right? Deleted, right?
Right.
And let's say I'm going to only package. Package means they are going to the your make a jar file, a complete application make a jar file, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
Package.
Hmm.
Just a double click. So then notice they are generating one class file to you, jar file complete. This application hold Java archive file. They are running the test cases. They are validating, compiling, test, and package. All the steps they are doing, right? So
Right,
notice
right.
in this target, notice this is the jar file. Test unit 1.0 jar. They are created,
How,
right?
okay, how do you run that?
This jar file because we have mentioned the executable jar main file you can mention here. You can run them as well as right.
Okay, okay.
Simply jar Java hyphen jar package them, right?
Hmm. Right,
So multiple way, but that means कि ambient support all kind of package. Here I am trying to say, let's see, package means by default the lower life cycle like validate, compile, test, automatic run, right?
right.
Sometime you want to don't run test. Notice here in this log file, they are run our test cases as well, right? They
Right.
are run test cases. So sometime you, I want to just package, yeah, I want to verify, I want to install, but don't want to test. So they have lots of options there. Skip the test case run, right? Skip test. So we have lots of options. Just aware, lots of operational activities. This supported by your Maven life cycle. This known as a Maven life cycle, right?
Maven Luxel, right.
What is the Maven? Maven is the application build tool, right? They are building a tool. Means ki packaging your making a jar, right? Making a executable jar. Lots of options we have, right?
Right, right,
And please ensure that might be whenever you are running, might be sometime some developer found ki this test cases are not running while running from here test, right? So might be you have to ensure that your POM have a complete latest this POM have a latest jars available. Okay, because each and everything work on the basis of your jar file. So whenever you are going to run and it will not run test, So please ensure that your plugins have a latest version, right?
Right. Right.
If your might be sometime old version, that will fail, but most probably you have to just update this latest version whatever you have, right? Yeah.
Right.
So देखो, this is package defined. This is responsible to your run the test cases. This package, this is responsible to compile the code, right? Please ensure that this artifactory must have your latest version. If you just Google it, this repository, this is your application. What is the latest version? Just you update here. Just say Google MBN. So please ensure that whenever you're running, ensure that this Maven, this repository, Surfire plugins must be like a 322, whatever the latest one at time. I'm using that 322, right? So these plugins are help us to run your test, right? So sometime maybe you are running, your test is not running automatically. So just check this Maven. Uh, this plugin must be your updated one, right?
Yeah.
So sometime maybe while building application, these are the older version. Then use the build uh, plugins. Notice this is the concept under the build, means they are going to all the clean. Okay? Ambient clean, ambient resource, ambient compiler, right? Ambient
Yeah.
this is the jar plugin. This responsible to generate the jar. This is the install, maybe clean, compile, build everything here, right? Maybe deploy, maybe site means generate the complete website type. So these are all the plugins they have Maven. The Maven have a plugins, and this plugin help us to do the tools. Whatever the here the tool look like here, after clicking, they run some code, right? For you.
Right.
Those codes written under this plugins, right?
Okay. Okay. I see. I see. So they
It's
get
not a
imported.
magic. It's not a magic. Each and every steps mentioned somewhere, right?
So this plugin basically run the code, or they
Yeah.
have the jar file. Sorry, they have the Java file that
Yes.
that helps to run.
Right. They know given the complete life cycle how it do. So here, whatever the your Maven say, due to these plugins, if you remove these plugins, they are not doing any activities, right?
Right.
All the magics you can say about the pom.xml, what are the things you mention? If you not mention this dependency, your code is not run as a JUnit, right?
Right.
Similarly, this is your clean package. This is your compile package. This is your uh, testing package. This is your jar package. This is your install package plugins, right? So these are
Right.
all the plugins we are used to just build support all the Maven life cycle, right?
Right.
So lots of plugins have we will not cover all the things, but basic by default you are creating any application by default basic plugins come, right?
Right.
So these are the basic plugin. I'm not
So
edit.
so it can get more in depth. JUnit.
Not this is not the function of JUnit. The JUnit, the things we are going to understand. JUnit, the way you write code, right? How
Oh, okay.
to
Okay.
test. This is the separate topic. But today, why we are studying? Because we are writing the test cases, so we should know how to run. What are the different way to run, right?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
This is the way I say. Generally, we are developing our application using the Maven project. So Maven support to run your test cases, right?
Oh, that's why we are talking about the way to run it. The
Right.
how many ways it can
To run
run.
it. Yes. Because if you look this unit testing documentation, here they're not mentioning anything how to test, how to compile, because they know ki that's your responsibility how to run the code, which build tool you can use, right? Notice
Okay.
these test cases writing in the JUnit test case can be used by different build tool. Notice this is a build tool. Build tool may be Gradle, maybe Maven, maybe Ant, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
So if you are using we are using the Maven, so we have to study Maven how we can run this code. What are the different way to run the code, right?
Hmm.
So this JUnit is just the way you write your unit test cases, right?
Right,
Maybe
right,
using IntelliJ IDEA, Eclipse, NetBeans, Visual Studio Code, VS Code, right? These are the
right,
editor. Editor also support you can write the code and test it, right?
right.
So these are the, you can say, infrastructure. This unit testing is just the concept, the way how to write your code to test your existing testing logic, right?
Right. Right.
Good. So that is the just for the Maven, how to run and test, because sometime we should know how to run from the command line, right?
You're right. Right.
So for command line, we can use the ambient command, ambient, and just say clean, compile, build. All these options you can set, right?
Right.
So good. That is the ABCD about how we are running our unit test, right?
Right.
So let's move to the more uh, understand more some more concept
Sure.
about to write the test cases, right?
Sure. Sure.
Sufficient about how to run the test, but it was a very sometime important to know, because this is the one of a more core feature about the unit test case. Unit test case can run automatically, right? So how
Right.
run
Right.
automatically? Someone we have to just a trigger point, na? Just click the something. They run all test cases. That's your responsibility. If you are in the Maven tool support this. Good part, right? And
Right.
one thing notice, whenever you're running this test case, I'm not writing any main method. Notice there is no main. Notice till now before the unit test cases, I am saying whenever you are going to write the some method, how to run. You want to add this method, how to trace. Generally, I have to write one main method, right? So generally, if I want to test them, I go to the particular main method. Maybe this is the main method right here, right?
Right.
So till now, we understand. First, we are going to create the object of my calculator, right? New, right?
Right.
Main. And in main method, say, hey, s out calculator dot add and pass some number, right? So in this
Right.
way, we get
Right.
this. So till now, we understand that only any code can run from main method. This now assumption, right?
Right.
Without main method, you cannot run a code. So now test unit case say whenever I am going to write the unit test cases, I am not writing any main method. Notice, just writing
Yes.
simple math. At
Right.
the,
It's not belongs to me.
but in but it will sure Java code cannot run without main. This is the Java code. How run? So this is taken care by your framework JUnit, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
When whenever you say run test, the internally this annotation is everything doing for you. They are going to create the main method and call this method automatically. So this is
In the
done
background.
in the background. Yes. So due to that, if you know the life cycle of here mentioned somewhere, let know the life cycles of your test cases. Till now, study we cover this part. Han. Notice this basic concepts. How JUnits works, right? So notice this is the life cycle method. By default, whenever I am going to run any test case, any test, right? This test before something you want to do, so this annotation we have to use, right? And
Right.
once this test case done, after you want to some cleanup, you have to do like a this one after each, this after each, and this after all, right?
Right.
This is the before. And during your class, your test, you have to use the following annotation, maybe test annotation, a repeated test. Yesterday we cover these two, right? Test and test.
Right.
Similarly, we have a parameterized test, test factory, test template, other parameter as well as. So how internally happen? What happen? Whenever you find this test annotation, compiler, this test annotation given by this JUnit uh, library, a JUnit given the meaning, I have to run this code in somehow the different main method. Okay,
Right.
internally they are doing for you. We don't do for it. Similarly, for each they have independent main method. For each they have independent main method. Notice each are run separate.
Right.
So please note that each test case look like a one simple main method. Let's assume this is a simple one main method. Notice this is the one main method. Just assume this is the one main method, run. This is the one main method, run. This is the one main method, run.
Right.
Just for basic understanding. Because this code you can write into your main method, right? And just here, instead of system.out.println, here say assert equal to true false, right? So please be internally, uh, there is no magic. Internally, this test cases, your unit test framework internally run your code inside this main method itself. It's clear?
Yeah.
So please, whenever you are writing any test cases, the basic principle is that your one test case, just assume is a complete independent one main method. This is the inside a main method, this code going to the run, right?
Right.
And notice whenever you running the test case, this is the separate instance, and this is simply separate one new main method, new class, new main method, and this is running a separate main method. Due to that, you say ki, the basic rule of test, this code is not interfere with this code because this is run by the separate a thread. Maybe this is run by the separate thread, right? Because each
Right.
main has its own thread, right? So sometimes this is the basic rule of test. Whenever you are going to run tests, whatever you want to run this test, whatever the initial value need, in the same test class you can declare this variable, arrange the what the input needed, right? And what the output we are expecting. And after that you can do cleanup. The basic rules, whatever the test you are going to run, this is the test I want to call. What the prerequisite, just here declare all the prerequisite and just take action. After done action, just verify your output. This is as per my expected or as per my not expectation. So this is assertion means just verifying my result. These are my prerequisite to call my add input. Whenever I am going to test add method, they need the prerequisite to x and y variable, two input, right?
Right.
These two
Right.
input my prerequisite. And prerequisite need the calculator class object needed. So here I'm not creating the new calculator. I say, hey, I say before each, whenever they are going to run this test case, first run go this, initialize the calculator object. So here I'm say initialize the calculator object and then call the my this my add method, right? If
Right.
I am not writing this here, I am getting exception because this is not initialized, right? You have a two option. Or you can say ki this line you written itself here, right? Here, right?
Right. Right.
This way your test is okay. So you say yeah, this is the always needed for each case. So why I this required for all the test cases? So why not write in the one common place, right? If you notice, they initialize constructor and then do operation and then clean up, right? So why it's possible means ki you are saying if you are comment them, I'm not interested to write this code again and again in each places. Each test cases I have to write. If I'm not writing here, this line I have to write each and every test case. Here if we run, if you know this test case is going to the fail because this is constructor is not initialized here, right?
Right.
This test case is a fail, null pointer exception. So what happened? Because this constructor don't know ki what is the calculator. They say, oh, again I'm going to write this here. Again I'm going to write this here, right? Again I'm going to initialize first, then call this. So this is the copy paste again for each test case, right? Now
Right.
this test case is going to fail. The better way, why not say ki whenever each test cases before do something, right? Before initialize this variable.
Right.
So due to that, I'm not writing here. I'm not writing here, right? I am say just going to initialize in one place. So
Oh,
how
it takes from here.
how our test case no? Because this is the annotation before each means ki whenever this test case going to run, first going to run this two line, right? And after this test case going to run.
Right. Okay. Okay.
This is the meaning of before each
Test annotation. It tells
starting
that your
point to
code.
run the test.
Mm.
This is the test going to run from here. But before
Mhm.
going to start this, they say ki already you have to make one more annotation before each means ki whatever the test, this is test 1, test 2, test 3, right? Three test cases, right? For
Right.
this each, we have to run this code for all the times, right? Local date time now. So whenever you run, notice for each test cases they are run, this code run. And it would be good you mention this line at so you said should be clear, right?
Right.
This code always run before running this test case, before running this test, before running this test, right? Because you are mentioning ki for my running test case, this is the required. Notice this test case running before this run and then
Right.
done. And if you run all test case, go here. I want to say run at the class level run means they are running all the test cases, right?
Right.
So they are running all test cases. Notice this is the run before this run, right? Before run. This test case before run. Different time stamps, right? Notice
Right.
there is different time. So generally this all the test cases. If you run this is the different time zone, right? This is the one,
Mm.
this is different 97 file. So I'm trying to say for each test you want to run some specific things. So that is the way. This is the before each. So
Right.
same life cycle here say ki whenever you want to run some test cases and for each you want to do something, then you have to do for each, before each, right?
Right.
And one is the before all. All means all the test cases I am running, but for only one I want before all, right? Look like a so you can also use this before all means they have only one for all, not for each, right? Only differences. This is for
Right.
each test case, this is for all test case, right? So let's do test here, right? I am say hey, uh, before all, right? And here say void all, before all. Okay, like just say as out. So this is the before all. So let's check this run for all or what. And notice is a suggestion that it must be static because for all you only one. That better way it should be static, right?
Right.
Because this is the all for one means that we have written four test cases for it. This one work for everyone the same, right?
Right.
And even the let the time so that okay, we feel the same time stamp. Okay, this will run for just one, and this for all, right? So sometime we required ki let's maybe our test cases require one database connection, right? So all one database is sufficient for all test cases, right?
Right.
So notice this is only one for all and no multiple test cases for each, right? For
Right.
each. But for before all only one, right?
Right.
Before all only one, right? Notice. So similarly, generally preference which whenever you're writing before all, yeah, similarly after each or similarly after all. So we have both options here, right?
Right.
So this is the maintain your uh, test case life cycle, right? This is the your test method, whatever you're doing, before something, after something, for each, for all. These are the annotation you have to use, right? Any confusion?
Okay. So annotation says before all. That means it run every it run first, even
Huh.
before everything else.
Yes.
And
Whatever the test case here, we have three test cases running before three test cases, they are going to run this. And they have only one time. Okay. This
Mm,
static means it's only one time, right? For this
right,
class. For each mention, for each test cases, for this going to run. For this test cases, again this going to run. For this test cases, again this going to run, right?
right, right. Now I understand the flow. That's how it controls.
Yes. It's till now any question, it's clear.
Yeah, it's clear now.
And here also mention whenever you're writing a test class, generally this test class, uh, JUnit 5 say कि don't write any public, private, many modifier. By default, leave it default. Even don't write public. Generally, whenever we're writing our main method, always a class should be public, right? Whenever
Right,
writing a class, calculator class should be the publics, right? Generally, we
right,
follow preferences. But test cases say that this test case is not required any kind of a public annotation or in a private. Just leave it default as this is the best guidelines, right? This is the document share here. No, not required the public, right?
right, right.
They are must not be private as well as, right? You cannot say
Okay,
if you're not public, then I have to make a private. No, you cannot make a private and not required a public. That means leave it default, right?
right, right.
So this is the just basic guidelines. And note, these are the unnecessary things. And notice if you write the your test class as a abstract, what happen? Your test can, let's check. If someone say, "Okay, I'm going to write our test class as abstract," right? What happen here? Let's see, right?
Right.
Then and test. Then what happen? So these are the some guidelines, basic rule we have to just follow. Notice you cannot run this test because you notice why not happen?
Because we wrote abstract.
Abstract class means you cannot create the object of this test class, right? You
Right,
cannot
right,
create the object of this test class. How these classes method are going to invoke all, right?
right, right.
So due to that, your test case class cannot be abstract. Be careful, right? So these are the
Yeah,
basic things. Generally, uh, someone not ask, but if you read the meaning also, why not? We have to know the reason, right? Because
right,
internally, our JUnit framework going to create the object of this class and then calling this method, right? Basic rule: whenever someone going to the call method, this method, that means they have must object of this class, right?
right.
And due to that, they are called this.
Also, I noticed that no argument, no value passing in between the bracket.
Here,
Yeah.
you can do. Let me, I'll give you. There are some scenario where you can pass the input.
No, on the note it says, like on the website.
Website say,
Yeah, yeah. Must not return a, oh, return a value.
here, test case generally are not return value, yes. Because
Oh, okay. Okay.
test case means you are calling some, testing some behavior, and this behavior you have verify here. You are getting value, not getting value, expected result not found. This is due to this assertion concept, there is no make sense of the returning value, right? Because
Right.
you, as a developer, not calling this method, right? If you are
Right.
not calling, what the meaning, what the return value, what the meaning, right? Because this
Yeah.
all the method are invoked by your JUnit framework, right? If let's you return some value, what the value JUnit do? Nothing will do, right? If
Right.
as a developer I can call this method, then I return value, I can print value, I can pass value, right?
But we are not calling
Yeah,
it.
just the framework, our unit test framework is calling this method, right?
Hmm.
Is right?
Right.
So these are the basic hygiene we have to follow, right?
Right.
So look like this is the one standard test classes they written. They mention where after all everything, right? Notice before all it should be static, right? And for each not static, right? And this is the test class, maybe test class, maybe some documentation disable, enable, some assertion true false. But notice all are the void, right?
Right.
Because there is no make sense. You return value, right? So these are the basic standard whenever you're writing any test cases, right? Generally, generally they mention that states tests here, because here we can write multiple test case one, test case two, test case three, right? So due to that, generally they are using here not singular, they're using the tests plural, right? It's clear.
Right. Right.
This is a naming convention you can follow. And just here nothing, just go to read down everything here the mention, and all the just you copy and paste and each and everything mention here, right? So writing unit test case is not so, you can say, tough job, because the business logic you written, just you want to testing them, just you want to verifying them, right?
Yeah.
So might be they support the operating test, means some method can only run a Mac operating system, Linux operating system, Windows operating system. Accordingly, you can also write test cases, right? So we are not going to the those scenario, right?
Right. Sorry, say it again. What scenario? What?
Like here they mention this document, you can run test case again the specific environment. Some test cases you can run again the Mac only, right? Means ki some code you written where the some Mac operating system your something method calling, right? So they
Right.
cannot run a window. Your Linux code cannot execute on the window machine, right? So your methods are just creating one temporary file in the C drive, right? And in the Linux there is no C drive, right?
Right.
You cannot run those test cases against the Linux environment, right?
Right.
Or similarly, you are creating some temporary directory slash temp, nothing in the window machine. You cannot test, right? So some operating system specific test case you can also test, right? So here all the documentation very well defined mention, we have to just do it, right?
Right.
Okay, so let's, I'm just going to you can read out all out, just I'm going to say one more things, one two more things that's I think you should aware, right, about
Sure.
the uh these all are the basic things you have read out. There is no any specific rocket science here how to meaning, right?
Right.
Just
Right.
I want to highlight, just give you the specific one two more examples so that you can easily make sense, like repeated task we have already covered here, right?
Right. Yeah.
One thing I am saying, you can use this parameterized test that sometime we are using in our application. What do you mean by parameterized test? Okay, let's do. So till now we do test we can know, and repeated test you can know, right? Two cover we have, right? Repeated test.
Right.
Repeated test means the same test case are going to call by our JUnit framework by 10 times, yeah, 5 times or 10 times, whatever you tell, right?
Right. Yeah.
And these input parameters are the randomly. Sometime I want this input parameter is not randomly. I can pass as a CSV file. I can pass as a parameter, right?
Right.
Sometime this value I want to pass not adding randomly, but as a parameterized. So in this case, we can use this parameterized test. So let's test it. Let's say this is the same code. I am going to say uh, at the rate parameterized test. Parameterize. Okay. Let's say at the rate para. Why not come? Maybe write the void test parameterized. Okay. And just say here test. Yes. Uh, why not parameterized test? Come under which method? This documentation was what say? Add Maven dependency. Okay. Need dependency. Search for it. Okay. This okay. For this we need this dependency. Look, notice a Jupyter parameter, right? So some test cases why? Because notice Jupyter have a different jars available. So we have to add this jar as well. That's good pass. So this required the dependency. We have to check. You can manually mention here, add automatically. You can add here, right? You can add search for. Just click here, and what is the lots of version they have? Which version you want? Maybe 510 latest one, right? You can select them,
Right.
and they are going to automatically IntelliJ help us, right? And now they give an option you can import. So here notice that's a check our POM file. POM have a they added entry, I think. And notice Jupyter param, right? So this is the by default notice whenever we start learning JUnit basic, na, they have options. Google JUnit. So because initially at the time of startup, I just added only one dependency. Notice here they mention the dependency Jupyter. If you click the Jupyter, Jupyter have a lots of dependency here. Notice Jupyter engine, Jupyter parameter. Notice,
Yeah.
and similarly Jupyter migration, Jupyter API, and Jupyter, right, Gemini Jupyters. So these are all the options have to some time needed, right? So these are the different plugins we have to add. So these plugins by default now we are added here, right?
Right.
This dependency here. And notice the same dependency you can here also click here, and you can find the same dependency here. Notice here 5101 latest version 5101, right?
Right.
Test. So sometime whenever please note whenever you are using some annotation here and your intelligence is not recognized, that means some dependency still you are missed, right?
Right.
Okay, so we have to add dependency like here we are reading. Okay, so whenever you say parameterize constructor, that means say I want to just verify the same here, right? Here the question is that what x and y, just here say integer x, integer y. I am giving the two parameter here, and whatever I'm going to pass here, right? And this is also just right. So question how I pass this two value, right?
Right.
So here say we have an option here, parameterize constructor give me the source value, and now here source value have a two kind of options. Source value or one is the CSV value, comma separated value you can give us. So here say you want to two value, so here you can give something two value, right? Here say at the rate value value source, right? Value
Right.
source, and here you can value source you can give. Here say you can say I can give value. Notice here give you lots of option given. Boolean int our required int, so I am going to ints, right? Ints. And here say ints maybe one let's get 2 comma 5, right?
Right.
So here I'm trying to say these two value are passed to the here. Maybe this is the maybe this is not run. Let me check. It will require the two value. How to recognize this is here going? 1 minute. Let's run here. Okay. Still they are saying notice their problem. This is the 0101. This is the two test cases they are going to run, and that means they required something array. Arrays value how to do? Arrays of integer. Arrays of integer. I have to pass two value bytes. Here ints one argument less than. So here by default ints 1 2 3, right? But how I want to pass the tuple sub value, two values, right?
Mm.
Tuples list of string list of collections values source value. No, here say source value is string empty parameters is following the string. I want to pass two value as a integers. Here say again. Here say 2 comma 5. They say here comma 6. In this way it's work. Uh, hmm. I want to give arrays value here. Here they are understanding in one test. If you pass only one here, if you pass only one, they can easily understand here. 2 comma 5 means here 2. This understand one time 2 here pass. Let's example I pass xx, right? So it will work, right? So by default they are understanding ki this one time they pass the 2. As next test case they are passing the 4. So they are going to run 2 test case against it, right? One for the
Right.
value x equal to 2, one next for the value 4, right? They will be
Oh, okay,
work.
okay. Yeah.
So my intention, I want to pass two value here, not only one value, right? So by
Right.
default here means somehow this is the array uh, parameterized value for more than one argument, right? 1 minute. I want this should be parameterized value for this is the array ints should be set or list something ints ints. Okay, that should be primitive array. Here should be array look like, right? Should be here should be array. Should be array something. Array, no, no. Let me here check. I want set byte array source value. I want sort bit byte sort longs strings array class array arrays of objects. Okay, so let's as of now 2 comma 4. So this is the one way here you can explore. You can pass there maybe custom object and maybe I explore and figure out. We have an option you can pass here multiple value as well, right? So in this
Right.
case, thanks. Okay. Here now I'm not passing any random number. Before this test case, I am passing this as a random value, right? I'm
Right.
saying this random value not. I'm a specific value I want to 2, 4, 10, 20, right?
Right.
For a specific test case, the same value I pass two times at testing expected and actual result, right?
Right.
Notice same tests are running multiple time, right?
Right.
So this is the one way. And here value source can be different. Let's me they have a different option somehow. One way value source here not null something something parameterized value source. Here we have a one option CSV parameterized. Lots of option they have. We have to explore them, right? So here say
Oh, they have lots of options.
lots of option you can explore. Need to exploration. Method providers 1 minute. Here say range argument. I can pass. Notice here two argument. Notice here multiple argument we can pass here. Notice here this method have a three argument. Notice I can pass. Notice here three argument they pass: string, integer, and list. Notice that means this is string provider one is the method. This is the things we pass. Okay. So this way you can also say key method source, or here you can pass the stream of value, right? So here say notice string first string and second string and list of value.
Right.
So we can do lots of options they have given lots of your code can give the multiple option. Okay, this is a stream of value provider stream provider. I'll share this example again. 1 minute. And this is the another option here as a CSV source. And they have give the multiple value. Maybe 2, 3, 4. Notice the two parameter right here.
Yeah.
So you can use this again, same with the parameterize this, but the value in the CSV format. Say CSV, CSV source. And CSV source say here give the value just, right? Here give
Right.
the, say here give the value, right? Here say
Right.
this is the 2, 4 and this is the 3 4, and this is somehow. And here say the require integer y. Somehow, okay, required double quote. Okay, he required the double quote here. Double quote, right? Double quote, double quote, right? So here say कि I am a one row, one set x y z here, and let me here should be y, should be y, right?
Aster. Sonia.
So let's test this. So notice this is run.
Right.
One is two parameter. X means 2 and 4, 2, 4, 6, right? 2, 4, 6, right? And
Right.
similarly 8 and 9. This is a second test case 8 and right. So we
Right.
can pass as permutation combination. Notice this test cases require two input parameter. So where am these two input parameter? This is the two input parameter. And even I want to expected result as well. This expected also I can get from here. Maybe let's another example, right? I write another test case. Here I pass, not I want to here. I want to pass here. Expected result as well, right? Parameter.
Right.
Here say ki this is comma expected 6, right? Here say expected, right?
Oh, 7. Yeah.
Here say ki my input x, input y expected ye. That is right. So
Oh,
if
okay.
you
Okay.
run
Mm.
this test, it will also pay, pass or fail, right? And even this CSV file, you can use then some CSV file in the data Excel file, and you can ask, this is my first input, second input, this is my output, right? This is second, first input, output. You can add any combination, right?
Right.
Maybe here 5, 6, right? And let someone want to incorrect. That means this test case must be fail, right? 5 plus 6, not 12, right? Our business logic. This will fail, right?
Right. Mm.
Like 5 plus 6 should be 11, right? So here say 5 should be problem, right? Expecting 12, but actually 11, right?
Right.
So this is the problem. So we have to write the correct value here, right? So we have a parameterized constructor means now whatever your test case are expecting some parameter, this parameter you can pass from the multiple source. Maybe some random value, right? This is the one way. Or you can say from this as a parameterized, or as a CSV parameterized, multiple parameter, or different way, right? Maybe you can say
Right.
your input 1, input 2, input 3, whatever the input you can pass here. And even this is a good option here. Notice this CSV format. Uh, Even you have some uh, third party, some different service where you can pass. CSV sources, you have lots of options they given, right?
Mm.
These are the complete lots of example they have given, right? Even you can say some file. Let's say I'm created some file here, right? Some say file, and you pass the file name, right? Maybe here pass the file. Similarly, I can say, hey, this should be some file system, right? Somewhere. So let us. I am going to create here. I am going to just create one test file, right? File. Say data dot c as comma separated well, right? And he in this data, no, I say uh, 2 comma 3 5 2 5 should be 7, right? And similarly here say 12 comma 5 should be 17, right?
Right.
Maybe 9 comma 8 should be 17, right? In this way you can
Right.
pass here, right? And say this are my test data, my test code run, right? So here say test parameterized test. Good, this is just the name one. This is the name two. This is the name three tests, and let's name four. So here I'm saying, hey, parameterized test. I'm not going to the pass value here itself, right? I'm not interested. I say already we have a file option, right? File, right? And here
Right.
you use this here CSV file option and give the resources your path name, right?
Right.
And here say resources uh, default. Here say file resource. Here give me option, right? File also, okay, files. Okay, file save option, right? Complete give the
Right.
file here option, right? Files,
Mhm.
files, okay? Files. And files would be, where is the my file? My file name is the ABC data dot what, comma separated value, right?
Right.
And it should be 4, right? The same, why I am giving the 3 parameter, because I may in the file also saving the same. This is the first input and output, this is expected, right?
Right.
And let's test this test case. So in this way, your test is depend upon, notice all are passed 2, 5, 7. Notice this is the same thing I given here, right? Something let's say I put the incorrect right here value, right? Someone, and again I run the test, it will be fail, right? Because this data have a some test case fail. Notice this is the failing, right? Because they are saying actual should be 17, you are passing the 170, right? Right? Because
Right.
how your test is run on the test data. You write the correct value and ignore. And again run, it will run. So parameterized test sometime help us, and maybe this test data you can put anywhere system, right? And just put your data, and this data is validated by your test, right?
Okay. Okay. So this is like a more practical example.
Yeah, right. So generally, sometime we need to write our tests with the parameterized, and parameterized constructor might be different way, right?
Yeah.
That's good, and a lots of different way to here parameterized test option they have, right? Lots of details they given. Even you can say some custom object. Maybe here you can pass some book object, right?
Mm. Right. Right.
So how books object you can pass? You can just create one book object and you can pass here books.
Right.
The- This class must be in your, and you can apply, because sometime I want to validate our model, Pojo, everything, right?
Right.
So in this way, we can write lots of test cases. Notice only one add method, I can write it multiple test cases, right? From
Right.
the CSV file, from the comma source value, from the input value, from the parameterized test, right?
Right.
So all these are known as a unit testing, right? What do you mean unit
Right.
testing? Nothing. You have a one business logic calculator class and you have written two methods. Okay, and these methods
Right.
are you are testing. Okay, let me. I have written one method, public
Sure.
uh, return division. Okay, divide, divide, and I say integer x comma integer y. Okay, and
Right.
return x divided by y, and should be written. Okay, so what do you think? Uh, let's say I am going to write this test case, and this test case have a very look. Sometime it works, sometime it fail, right?
Right.
So let's check how to write the test cases. So I am going to say, hey, I am going to write test cases public, uh, not required public, just void, and divide test, division test, okay,
Right.
division test, and this required. Uh, let's this is just simple test, right? And here say I have input x equal to let's say 10, and input y equal to, let's say, 2, and expected, okay, expected would be x divided by y, right? And what our method say, int cal- actual calculator dot division, right? X
Right.
comma y. So this way, if you run it, test logically, I pass the exact value, it will work fine, right? There is no problem. But division have a one problem. Division have a one problem. What happen if I pass here 0, right?
Right.
Let assume another test case. Division another test case. Here I division test case 1, and he what happen if someone pass here 0? If I pass 0, then what happen? You think this method is run successfully or not? Okay, what will happen? Here we have to just write one assertion. Okay. Question here, let me run. If you run, this test case is going to the fail because why? Because this will throw uh, divide by 0 exception. Notice whenever you're running, they are showing arithmetic exception, divide by 0. So this is my expected output, right?
Mm.
This should be the output, right? I have to verify this method must throw exception. Which exception? Arithmetic exception, right?
Okay. Because
So here,
you dividing by zero, that means it's
not possible.
okay, okay, I see, I see.
Division 0 in the computer, not possible. In
Right,
the or mathematics word, you say infinitive, right? But in the computers, not allow, right?
right,
So
right.
in this case, sometime you, such cases, such method throw exception, then you not write in this way. Then you can say, I am going to write this test case not like this way. I say assert, not equals, assert throw, assert throws, assert assertion throw, and here say कि whenever I'm calling this, now code this code you call here, okay, and here say कि I am passing here number 10 and this is the 0, okay.
Right,
Assert, and you say कि this method what kind of exception throw, this will throw arithmetic exception, right? So here say कि this say arithmetic exception, okay,
okay. Hmm.
dot where. So this is the way you are expecting exception, right?
Right,
So sometime whenever you want to going to any test that will throw exception, then you have to ensure that key this is the exception this throw. Whenever I call divide and passing the 0, it will throw exception. And what exception throw? Say exception dot get message. Okay, you say get message, and this you can apply your assertion, right?
right,
This should be our expectation they throw divide by 0, right?
right,
So our should be here divide by through are actually the your, right? So in this way you have to write this scenario where your class must throw exception. If I pass incorrect value, they must throw exception, right? Now if you run this test, it will say, hey, divide by 0 actual, right? Right, it's pass test division.
right.
So sometime you have to your method, some method can throw exception, right? If your method can throw exception, then you're writing a test case, you have to also throw assert, throw exception, right? Throw exception. Assert throws, right? And this is the exception. What kind of exception they throw, right?
Right.
Maybe this is the one more method. This method here I say, hey, this is the uh, just uh, div, and here say ki if I say if our y less than 0, I throw exception, right? I say throw throw new illegal argument exception, right?
Right.
Y cannot be 0, right? Y cannot be less than 0, right?
Right.
Less than 1, look there, right? Less than 1. If, okay. So generally we are writing code this way. Generally division method should be this way, right? If your y is the less than uh, 1, that means 0, we're not going to divide, right? We are saying illegal argument exception, right?
Right.
Whenever you run this code, in this code your method throwing illegal argument divide by 0 arithmetic exception, but here you can throw your exception, your custom exception, right?
Right.
If you are writing to test for this division, let's keep the same test. I am going to run for div, only div method, right? Div method. If you pass here, so they are not throwing like our arithmetic exception, or might be I'm not getting this message, right? Let's run here, and then you notice, hey, these methods are throwing some different error. Why you are catching this exception? So notice our assertion failed. Notice our method throw illegal argument exception. You are expecting the arithmetic argument, right?
Right.
That means we have to change our assertion. Assertion should be like this. And what the message we throw? We message are expecting calculator here. Y cannot be less than 1. This is the message, right?
Right.
So here, this message, expected message would be this, right? And if now you run this code, it will works. So sometime your particular test methods can throw, now it's pass, right? So this is scenario. Some exception handling you have to also handle in the test cases, right? So
Right.
whenever your business logic maybe throw some exception or maybe some runtime exception. This is the runtime exception, right? So and those cases, while writing the test cases, you have to use the class assert throws, not utter, right? And here you mention which kind of exception you are expecting, which the method you are going to test. Is it clear? Any
Kind of.
yes, little bit. But r- notice in this calculator class, I have just written 2, 3, 4 method, right?
Right. Right.
But for testing, we have a lots of effort because now testing required because this the logic you written it works for all the possible scenario a corner or not, right? Two
Right.
valid
Right.
scenario, two what happened? What happened? I pass the minus value here. This scenario you have to take in, right? Uh, division, a good name. Okay. So due to that, test cases cover all the scenario. That is known as a test coverage. Sometime someone in the real application always want this is the business code written you add method and division method. Someone want what say oh no, okay. Sometime this test case say ki what the scenario we have to cover, all the functionality we have covered by test case has not, sometime you heard the test case coverage, right?
Right.
Means ki whatever the test case coverage means, ki what the business logic you written, what the possible coverage you have did from the test cases. Means ki how to know if you run this test class, uh, maybe uh, we have to add some plugin code coverage. They have figure out what number of your code cover, right?
Right.
This is more test run with the coverage. Notice, let's check. So sometime in application, someone asks to run your code coverage, and now notice here the complete report they given. Notice this is the app test is the 0% coverage. Why? This app test class have a no need test cases and calculator have a 100% coverage because you have a one test class and four method and four test cases, right? But
Yeah.
line 90% coverage. That means still your code is not 100% cover. Your method 100% cover, your class 100% cover, but the line of code is not 100% cover, right?
Yeah.
Because here in the our code, in this our this is the logic here mention your code is not 100% line coverage, right? So due to that, whenever you're going to write test case, some positive negative scenario here not mentioned, we have not covered something not cover here, right?
Right.
Still write more test cases to cover all the scenario, right?
Right.
In two. Okay. So notice code coverage means maybe you have written only one method. I just written only one method, but to test them, we need a multiple test cases, right? Both are the positive cases, both are the negative. One positive value, one negative value, right?
Right. Yeah.
Testing required multiple input tests, right?
Okay. Okay. Multiple input test.
That is the test coverage. Because here we written a code like notice, written a code, and this is the one case. When I test this scenario, notice in our test coverage, I have just added one test case where we pass the notice where it pass the uh, division. This division by zero. That means this division one test case I reckon for this scenario if less than, right? What happened? I am passing the greater than value. Then those scenarios are not covered here. That means we need a one more test cases that cover the both scenario, right?
Yeah.
Are you getting my point? Why not 100% test coverage? One more test cases. Let's here say division, and I pass the this time to positive value, right? One test case I written division for the positive and zero. One test cases both are the correct value, right? Because this
Right.
division have a two else. One is the two actual value, then return this value, right? One
Right.
test cases, one y value less than zero I pass. Then this code return here from here, right? This is the two path. One path this, one path this. At least two tests required for this class. One method required two test case minimum to cover, right?
Right.
Due to that, I have written one test case less than zero, one test case positive value. If you run here and again, where is the 1 minute? Run with the coverage, right? More debug information run with the coverage and check our test coverage increase or not, right? And now notice our test report line 100% cover, method 100% cover, calculator class 100% cover. So in
Okay.
this way, we can cover the code coverage from the test cases. Are you getting now why 100% here before
Can you show me?
90%?
Can you show me an example again? You
Yes.
said four scenario. You you try to uh, do the coverage. Uh,
So let code, let's understand this code. Whenever someone say ki you can test this code, so what do you think? I pass 10 and 10. That means I pass 10 value, 10 value. That means ki this scenario I tested, right?
Right.
And I not tested this scenario, right? This is means there is, you are not, your code is not test this scenario. So next I am
Right.
going to test 10 and 0. That means 10 0 this scenario cover, and 10 10 this. The same I am written two test cases here. Division method, one division method for the both positive value, right?
Right.
One test cases for the positive and less than one.
Okay. Yeah.
If any test cases I let's say I remove these test cases, okay, and if I am run my test coverage, right? Run my test coverage here. That means ki our test coverage is not 100% with respect to the line, right? Notice they are 90% coverage. Means ki there are something, some line code you are not cover from the test cases.
Hmm.
So due to that ki in many applications set some rule. Your application must cover 80% code coverage, 20% code coverage, 50% code coverage, right? Code
Right.
coverage means ki whatever the line of code you written here, whatever the line of code you written, right? Control Z. Just whatever the line of code written here, each and every line must be tested from the unit test. Notice this is the if. Maybe we have run another if. Then what happens? Let's see. I run one more if condition. Let's first test this scenario. Test this scenario, right? Then we can find the 100% coverage as of now. Like someone run this test case and find this all the 100% coverage, right? It's good. What happen? Someone go and add one more if condition here. Someone say if x is greater than 1000, 100, right? I am throw illegal argument exception. I not allow, right? As of now. Why?
Right.
Okay. X cannot be greater than 100. Okay. 100.
Right.
This is the word test. So notice someone business required say कि our division function only support between 1 to 100, right? In this case, our code is business logic, right? If someone run our test coverage and then they figure out again my test coverage become a low, right? Our test coverage not become 100% because someone added the business logic but not written test cases. Notice here 91% again.
Oh, okay. Okay. I see. Because that condition has not been tested.
Yeah, not tested by the unit test, right? Yes. So notice our code compile, everything done fine, but our code is not covered from the unit test cases. That means ki
Hmm.
we at least required for this method, at least required three test cases. One for this scenario, one for this scenario, one for this scenario, right?
Right.
So due to that, ki our unit test cases are more than our actual code. Actual code written is one method. You are going to test from the unit test three test cases, right?
So have you done a few line of code for this example?
Yes, this is the right.
Yeah, this is the one.
Maybe now at that means ki we have to write one more test cases here. So make our
Oh, okay. Okay.
100% coverage, right? We have to say one
I
more
see.
100%. Say here, I am going to here 10, and here say I am going to 100. Yeah, 101, right?
Right.
110. So in this case, this case not meet, this case meet. X greater than, okay, x, right? Our test case
Right.
would be x greater than, right?
Right.
Right? Here. So in this case, our which scenario tested? This y not less than 1, then x and greater than this condition will flow through. This
Right.
is our expected method, right? Message.
Right.
So our say, hey, this is our expected my assertion should be right.
Right.
right? And let's test again. So in this way, unit test case are required more line of code than your actual code. And notice now it's become 100%, right? Code coverage
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
So sometime in actual applications, whenever we are running, our project manager, our guidelines set, ki whatever you are writing code, business logic, all the line must be tested by the unit test. How someone know you written a unit test or not? Just they generate the report, right?
Mm,
So this is the my one calculator class. We have written a bunch of method, but this all the methods are tested or not? How ensure our test cases, our unit test cases, right?
right.
So,
Mm,
someone how to verify? You cannot say like, hey, I written all the test cases. Show me the report, right?
right.
You have to report, submit the report. So nowadays, lots of tools available to check the code coverage. Might be heard this notice. Our application code coverage is 80%, 20%, 50%, right?
Right. Right.
So is it clear what do you mean by code coverage? Why we need a more unit test case, right?
Right.
So this is the basic about the unit test. Unit test means ki whatever the business logic you are writing, each and every line must be tested from your unit test case. Means ki automation test case. Any scenario you miss to test, your code coverage utility
And,
help us. Your code is
and
not
can you
100%.
can you show how did you test the last line? Return x divide
Yes,
by, yeah,
yes.
this one.
I'm saying this is the is that a message?
No. The last line, which is x divide by y, and you
Okay, code.
returning.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Here business logic I written. If y is less than one, then I throw exception y cannot be less than one. X
yeah,
is greater than 100, then I say x cannot be greater than 100, right?
right,
So this is the two scenario I've generated. In the real application when we're writing the business logic, might be multiple if and else, right?
right,
As number of if and else, if and else, if and else. You have to write the as number of test cases.
right.
So any confusion, any question, what how to
Now I
write
understand the concept, like
unit
what's,
test and why it is important?
yeah,
Because your unit test case cover all the possible flow of your method application.
right, right,
Might be someone manually developer just test two value and say it's okay, right?
right,
May are not know each and every code flow, right? Maybe inside
okay,
again you written some condition, right?
right.
Condition something and if condition. This is sometime at unit test case known as a black box testing. Means ki as per our code you written the test cases. What number of if else branch in your code? Each branches you are testing, right? Might be
Okay,
manual tester or our customer cannot test it all the path, right?
right, right.
So the main reason unit testing is more preferable because they cover all the possible whatever the line of code you written that must be tested. Without tested code, how we can deliver to the customer, right?
Even the application runs,
Even the
still,
run, yeah, because application usually the safe scenario best cases is run, right? What happened the worst case? What happened the wrong input? What happened the network failure? What happened the out of memory?
okay, I see. Scenario,
Corner
different scenario.
scenario are generally manual tester, your customer are not testing.
Right, right,
But corner cases happen in some days, maybe 1 day,
right,
10 days, 20 days, monthly, and after that, customer make a
Right.
huge penalty sue to you, right?
So yeah,
Due to
it's
the
um,
contract, right?
yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
happy.
tested.
Yeah.
Why you are not tested? You develop my software. Why you are not tested those scenario, right?
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah.
That's whenever some time this test case result safe software industries, right? This
Oh, I see, I
unit
see.
test cases proof, yeah, some level of confidence on the customer has, or all over the software I'm using all the one level of testing done, right?
Right. So
That
this is a part of like SDLC and like
yes, this is a part of your hygiene of the software developer.
hygiene. Yeah, yeah,
This is known as a non-functional requirement. Customer never tell ki you write the test cases for me. Customer is not
oh, okay.
interested.
It's not a
Customer,
part of customers
no,
sign
customer
contract.
say I need a functionality, right?
Hmm.
But how you believe, how project manager, architect believe ki whatever you delivering as per the customer requirement. Because for developing one software, multiple engineering, multiple developer, junior developer, senior developer working, right?
Right,
How they meet the customer requirement? This unit test report testing scenario is generated. Yes, one level of confidence. Ki all the test case written, these the code coverage have, and this scenario are tested, right?
right, right,
So this make our software quality means we are increasing, making more confidence our software quality.
right.
That's good.
Yeah,
So these are your unit tests, and good part ki all the how to write the code, all the possible permutation combination, each and everything in this documentation, unit test document written, right? Good part. Situation scenario just we have to read out and implement them, right?
right, right.
Any doubt, any confusion till now?
No, this document, I'm gonna read through this document, and this has all the important.
Yeah, everything about the unit test case, whatever you want to learn about the unit test case, they have implemented here. And these are the
Right, right.
basic standard annotation generally we use in our application. Okay.
Okay, okay.
These are the
Hmm.
basic one table here given. These are the basic annotation 4, 5, all the annotation here mentioned, right? These are
So
the
these are
annotation.
used in the industry. This type
Yeah,
of stuff.
generally, yes, all the Java applications, whatever building, we are using this annotation for writing
Hmm.
unit tests. Unit this noted test, parameterized test, repeated test, test factory, text terminal. Might be all the things not required. Test class, test loader, method, instance, not of things. Generally, might be not needed. Generally, but something we needed, right?
Hmm.
Okay. So that is from with respect to the unit test.
Right, right. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Okay. Any question? Any doubt?
No, no, I got it now. I got it.
Great. Thank you.
No problem.